What's up guys, welcome back to another Gwent video, and today it is time for Skellige's reveals. If you guys missed my Northern Realms, my Nilfgaard, and my Squirtle reveals, all the links will be in the description below. But let's just jump right into it. Answer the call to sea and deliver the offering it demands. Now, before I get into this, I just want to say that my prediction was correct. I predicted that when they first revealed Skellige cards in the previous expansion, that we would get a Melusine cult kind of thing, some kind of cards based on that, and I was correct. We have received four cards that are all related to Melusine in some way. And based on this, we're getting some synergies with Rain, Druids, and cults, right? Again, I was correct. Hell yeah. Not the most difficult production, but you know what? I'm still happy. Let's jump into the first common card. It is Hermit. Common, Human Cultist, Druid, 7 for 4. Deploy, damage self by 4. Berserk 6, at the end of your turn, damage the unit to the right by 1, then heal self by 2. Oh, good lady, bless your faithful servant with a fat flounder. Also, another thing I want to say is all the art for Skellige is insanely good. It's fantastic. Like, this just makes the Squirtle card art look very plain in comparison. Lacking a lot of depth compared to these cards. These card arts are insanely good. Anyway, first things first about Hermit is that it is a druid, which means it is the first 4 provision druid in the game that can proc Gedinith. This is actually pretty useful, because Skellige, I believe, right now doesn't actually have... Yeah, it doesn't have a single 4P druid right now, so that's nice. Another thing is that it is a 4P card, which means it's another very good portal target, jumping at 7, so it doesn't actually damage itself with, obviously, with portal. The effect is the deploy effect is very similar to the fish flapper, right? Very similar effect. It's also a cultist, and this cultist tag is going to be important. You're going to see above that cultist tag is actually going to be relevant now. This card, the best way to describe this is it is similar to Swalblot Cultist, except it's capped. So oops, wrong spelling. Swalblot. Yeah, this card, right? Swalblot Priest. That's the card. It is basically this card, except this card, Hermit, is capped at 7. It cannot go above 7, right? Because it's a heal, unlike Priest, which is a boost. So that's the best way to compare this card. Is this card good? Pretty good, actually. As a 7 drop, with the Druid tag and a Cultist tag, it's actually quite good. You know, it synergizes very well with the Drakkar, which was recently buffed to 4P. This one right here. And yeah, it's not a bad card at all. It's actually a genuinely very good 7 drop. Nothing else much to say. I think it's a solid 3 out of 5. It's because of the damage part here. You can also play this alongside units that like to be damaged, like Olaf, Champion of Swalblod. What's the card called? Harold? Yeah, this card right here. The skulls, right? You can play this next to Harold's pals and trigger them as well. Basically the same targets that Cultist Priest benefits off, the same thing that this will benefit off, except it's only capped. Solid 3 out of 5 card. It's a very good card. It's a nice portal target if you're not running fish flappers, or this is also a good card if you're playing it in a Gedinith / druid deck. Really good stuff. Alright, next up we have Havfru Singer. This I believe translates to Sea Woman, or I think Sea Beast, Sea Woman I believe it is. So, 4 strength, 5 provisions, Human Cultist Druid, again same as the Hermit. Deploy, heal an allied unit by 2. The first time you heal an allied unit during your turn, spawn a deafening siren on this row. No human can match sirens in singing. Some, however, are talented enough to compel sirens to listen. That's pretty good. Again, a very, very gorgeous looking artwork, right? So yeah, this plays on deploy as an 8 for 5, right? You heal an allied unit by 2, so it's the 6, and then because you've healed for the first time, you spawn a Deafening Siren, which is a 2 strength body. In case you guys do not know what they look like, this is the Deafening Siren. It's a 2 strength beast, which is a beast. So yeah, 8 for 5 on deploy, very good, and it's a kind of an engine as well, because every successive heal you do, the first heal anyway, you'll get another Deafening Siren. So any heal effects you have, add 2 points to that. This means this card has some fantastic synergy with Battle Trance, because whenever you play an Alchemy card, you heal something, right? So this leader just became even better with this card existing on the board. So you're really, really encouraged to play a lot more alchemy cards with this deck. Like, this is a really good card. This thing is a fantastic card. I would honestly give this a 4 out of 5. Haha, 4 out of 5, haha. Because it's a druid, so you can play it in get in it decks. It's a cultist, which we'll come to because it actually synergizes with one card that's above. And it just gives you so many extra points. And it's cool because a Deafening Siren is a beast, which means you actually have synergy with... Where'd the guy go? Where's the lad? Yeah, Axel 3 Eyes. Boost self by 1 for each allied beast. So if you can spawn a bunch of Deafening Sirens and then just drop this guy, he can drop for some pretty hefty points. If somehow you can purify all those tokens with Siegfried or something like that, you can get some very good value with Corrupted Flaminica. So, is a beast deck viable? I wouldn't say that much. I still think beasts need a bit more support, but it's a start. It's a start. Corrupted Flaminica can get some decent value here. Alright, so that's an easy 4 out of 5 for me. I think this card is fantastic. It's a 5p card as well. That's so cheap. And its effect is really good. This is a very good card. Very good card. And again, the artwork is insanely good. Alright, let's move on to the epic. Offering to the Sea, Alchemy, 7 provision special alchemy card for Skellige. Damage all units on the battlefield by 1. Then spawn a Deafening Siren on a random allied row and boost it by the number of allied targets. Cultists proclaim that the maidens are offered to the sea, not eaten by its monsters. Yet for the latter, the semantics make no difference. Very true, very true. Before I jump into the card art and how amazing it is, let's just talk about the effect. So this effect is essentially a foretail for monsters, except all the damage that you receive is negated by the Deafening Siren that spawns, because this thing boosts itself by the amount of units you've damaged. Plus 2, because Deafening Siren is 2 as well. So think of it actually like a Stammelford Tremors plus 2. I think that's the best way to describe it, right? Obviously, it's more than 2 if you damage armor on your side or units that heal themselves, like you know, for example, Hermit or the Fish Flapper, right? That heals itself, so the damage it took is negated. This card is really good. It's an alchemy, so you can tutor it with Ermion. 8 procs Battle Trance, so you know you get a heal off it. It's only 7 provisions. Only 7 for this effect. That's really good. It's so good against Swarm. It's really good. Another thing is it synergizes well with Self Wound, right? So cards like, for example, Bear Witcher Mentor. This card is very good with this effect because if you manage to damage a bunch of your units and get them to red strength, Bear Witcher Mentor just gets a bunch of value and you haven't lost anything because of the Siren that you spawn. Fantastic synergy over there. Very good stuff. I love this card. But let's talk about the artwork now. Look at the storytelling. This is the Bride of the Sea from the previous expansion. That's Fulmar. I love it. I just love how they've continued the story of, you know, Melusine. If you guys want to, like, just look at it. This is not Melusine though. I'm gonna say why, because Melusine's artwork is above. But that's Bride of the Sea. That's Fulmar, and she's being sacrificed. You know, not eaten as they say, but you know what's the difference, right? She's gonna become bones in the end. Again, this card is fantastic. Easy 3.5, 4 out of 5 card in my opinion. Some great synergies here. It's a very good card against Swarm. It's a very good card for you as well. You can just damage a bunch of your own cards like Olaf and then just negate the value. Obviously, as I said, Bear Witcher Mentor, fantastic card with this. Just a fantastic card overall. Very good card. Very good card. And now finally, the big one. Melusine herself. Legendary card, 7 strength, 10 provisions, beast. Look at that artwork. That is insanely good. Holy shit. Just a quick bit of lore about Melusine. She is actually a contract in The Witcher 3. You can actually accept it and kill her. And in the game, there's a hint that, you know, some Skelligans actually worshipped her, and they've actually taken the advantage to, you know, kind of explore that lore a bit more with this archetype. So I really like this a lot. Anyway, Veil. All right. Order. Spawn Rain on an enemy row for 2 turns, then damage self by 2. At the end of your turn, damage adjacent units by 1, then gain 1 base power for every unit damaged. If any unit damaged was a cultist, refresh Melusine's order. The lady sits on her throne, devouring our offerings and demanding more. Yet, she does not try to rule over us in any particular way, so she's actually better than any Jarl. Fair enough, fair enough. Though I think murdering a bunch of women doesn't seem the best way, right? Alright, so let's see what this is. This card synergizes with so many different archetypes in Skellige. It's crazy. She synergizes with beasts because she's a beast herself. So it's actually a big beast body that you can res with Sigrifa's Right. She strengthens because of this effect right here. So you damage your own units and then she strengthens herself, right? Strengthen is different to boosting, guys. Strengthen is permanent. There's no way to weaken. This card can't even weaken itself, by the way, so it's really good, which means Sigrifa's Right is fantastic on this. It also has rain synergy. The order effect means you can proc rain, and then that triggers, you can synergize with Fulmar, you can synergize with Great Swords, Dagger, Bride of the Sea. Great stuff there. And also, of course, what's the card called? Melusine Cultist? Yeah, this card right here. If there's rain in the opposite row, boost the unit to the right by 1. So you can proc this engine as well. Really cool. Really, really cool. But that's not all. If any unit you damaged was a cultist, so even if one of the units next to this card was a cultist, you can refresh the order again. That's so good. That's a lot of rain. Because essentially what you're doing is you're trading 2 damage for 4 damage on the opposite side, right? So it's a net gain of 2 points. Just a really, really good card. It's really hard to judge, on face value if it's a fantastic card or not, because it has so many things going for it. But I'm inclined to say that just because of how many synergies it has and how many decks it can fit in, it's a great card. Like, just think of this, right? You place this in the middle. On its left, you play the, what's it called? This card right here. Let me just type in Cultist. So, yeah, you play this first. On its right, you play Melusine, and on its left, you play this card right here. Svalbard Cultist. So what you can do is, this thing damages Melusine by 1, boosts itself by 2, so that's 1 point. Then Melusine damages this and this by 1, so, and then strengthens itself by 2, so there's no net gain. So it's still a 1 point turn. And then this heals Melusine as well. But what's interesting is that because both of these are cultists, or at least one of them is, Melusine's Rain order is going to be reactivated again and again and again. Infinite value right there. Very good stuff. Honestly, this card actually might see play now. Svalbard Cultist, at the end of every ally turn, heal the unit to the left by 1. This card actually might see play. This card has been getting small buffs. It used to be 5 provisions, it used to be 4 strength. It's now 5 strength for 4 provisions. It's a pretty good card now, especially with all this synergy. Yeah, I cannot wait to play this deck. I cannot wait to play a Battle Trance, get in it, Cultist deck. I think that's the way I'm going to go with this, with Melusine. Another thing about Melusine is it has some decent synergy with Hjalmar. I've seen some people say it's a good Hjalmar proc. I actually don't think it's the best Hjalmar proc, simply because Melusine can grow pretty quickly, right? Like, on the first time you play it, as long as there's 2 units, it's going to strengthen itself to 9. Next turn 11, next turn 13. How many targets are you actually going to face that require you to, you to need 13 points or even 11 points to banish, right? Like, this Hjalmar is best used on like 8s or 9s, typically, not more nor less. So I think the best synergy is with Sigrifa, this card right here. Just res it. It's also good in Lippy. You can replay the card again with Lippy. That's pretty good as well. How do you stop this card? Well, it has Veil, so the only way is to Heat Wave it, Yennefer Invocation it, or, best one, Monster Ozrel. This card can potentially become bigger than Igorn, which means monster players with Ozrels are going to be lapping their lips. Like, they're just smacking the lips together. They're like, yes, feed me. Make it bigger. Stuff Melusine, make it bigger, and then Ozrel comes on the board, and boom. You've just given your opponent I don't know, 14, 15 point Ozrel. That's pretty good for them, right? Melusine, for me, I'm going to give her a 4 out of 5 star. Very easy 4 out of 5 star. Again, it's one of those cards that's not super easy to say on face value if it's good or not, but I think that she's going to be a very interesting card, to say the least. So yeah, 4 to 5 Melusine, Offering of the Sea, easy. I would say 3.5, 4. Some really good synergies here. Halfru is a 4, and Hermit is a 3. Skellige has got not only some fantastic cards, but some great looking cards as well. Like, this is a definite premium day 1. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Let me just see if I'm missing anything. If I just type in Cult. I don't think so. I mean, you can play these next to Melusine as well. Trigger that Berserk as well. You can play this next to her as well. That's pretty good. Arnvald, maybe not. I don't see it actually happening. Yeah, honestly, not holy shit, it's not. This guy hasn't seen play in so long, but you actually might get some decent value with this onto Melusine, because Melusine is such a large body. Yeah. And he's only 8 provisions, right? Like, I don't think he's going to be amazing, but there's a consideration with this card. So that's pretty much it. I think that's the Skellige stuff. I think Skellige has definitely got some fantastic cards. Are they the best selection? I still think Nilfgaard has, in my opinion, the most exciting cards, but I am definitely excited to try out Skellige. This looks so much fun. So yeah, there we go, guys. That's pretty much the Skellige reveals. Do let me know if you agree or disagree with my ratings, or if you can think of any other combinations or synergies that I missed. And I will see you guys, I think, on Friday for the monster reveals. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care.